Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! Wow, I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome back to Venom Month, day number 18, where today, or actually in the past video, we took a look at the best monster-ish Venom figure of all time ever. No questions asked, and that's a bootleg, and it's phenomenal. It's definitely can compete with the original figures. I said some, the whole video is basically saying, hey, this figure is awesome, dude. If you can get it, you totally should. And you totally should get it if you can find it cheap. It feels really on par with the, at least it feels like it could be on par with the Toy Biz one. Comparing it to Toy Biz figures, it feels that good. But today, we're not taking a look at a Toy Biz figures, guys. Instead, we're going to take a brief step into the Dark Ages. Briefly, not really though, never mind. And that is going to be taking a look at a custom. That is my custom Marvel Legends Hasbro Agony figure. Spoilers, this is one of the Life Foundation symbiotes. This is Agony, who, I think the symbiotes themselves don't have any genders, but the person who's in this symbiote is a female. I don't think the symbiotes have genders, do they? Is Venom specifically a male, or are the symbiotes just asexual? Because they reproduce asexually. Regardless, everyone calls it she, so that's what we're going to go here. That's what we're going to go for here. So I've already reviewed this figure before, but since it's Venom Month, I figured I'll redo it, and also since I have better camera quality now, I might as well just redo it, and you can see the details of this custom even more. Or maybe you'll see that, oh man, this custom actually sucks. But anyway, let's take a look at here. So this is using parts of the Spider-Girl body, along with parts of the I think, Absorbing Man wave Spider-Gwen. So I did customize Spider-Gwen. I did buy a Spider-Girl to make into this custom. But I'm pretty sure the seller tried to scam me because both of the wrists were broken. When I tried moving them, the wrist broke off. So did the arm joint, so did the ankles. So then out of a fit of rage, I just tore the figure to pieces. But I was able to get a refund, not from tearing it apart, before I tore it apart. I did get I didn't get all my money back. I think I paid like $15 for it or whatever, and I was able to get I think $12 back or whatever. I did lose a couple dollars, but I did get to keep it. The head and some body parts were still left intact. So I did manage to use that, and I decided to customize Spider-Girl, because at the time I didn't really care about Spider-Gwen. So all that survived from the Spider-Girl, I think is, like you can see there, I think the legs, the pelvis here. I don't know what survived from it, but basically it's a mix between Spider-Gwen and Spider-Girl. Definitely I know the arms are from Spider-Gwen, because Spider-Gwen, actually, fun fact, this is one of the female bodies that has the deepest elbow joint. Most of the other ones only bend like about this, but this one actually bends in a little, barely past 90 degrees. And this custom, obviously it has different paint apps. These hands are actually, so fun fact, Spider-Gwen does not have removable hands. Like, she didn't come with hands. I think you get a fist and a whipping hand, and I think that's all. It's like a fuzz right here, or some hair right there. Yeah, this figure, she didn't come with interchangeable hands. Neither did Spider-Girl. So they did not design, this leg is bugging me like crazy. It keeps bending forward. The knees are loose. Probably going to have to tighten that up. But as far as that goes, the figure joints, as far as it goes, she didn't have removable hands. So what I did was I took the Ultimate Green Goblin Build-A-Figure Wave Hobgoblin, I can't speak, guys. The Carnage figure from the Ultimate Green Goblin Build-A-Figure Wave. And I cut off his joints, and because the hands are pinless, you have to either ruin the joint to take it off, or just take off the whole hand. And Carnage's hands aren't removable either, and so I decided just to cut the pin off, and then stick it onto Spider-Gwen's hand. And so it works. You do see the white pin underneath, or the white hinge, which I don't really care. That's not a big deal. Same thing on the arms, same thing on the shoulders. I don't really care. To me, having paint rub is just kind of, it's going to happen, you know, like if you go outside and it's sunny, you're going to encounter sunlight, you know, that's just kind of what works. That's kind of what happens. The head sculpt is also from Spider-Gwen, and the main reason I wanted to get Spider-Gwen for this custom is because I feel like the hair being bigger and longer than some other female figures, having a more dynamic appearance to it, where the hair is like blowing to the side. I feel like it looks really good for a symbiote. Hasbro's figure, I don't even remember what it looks like. I don't know. I don't even remember what the Hasbro one looks like. The hair, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter, because I made this before that figure was even announced. I made this like a year and a half ago, maybe. I'm not too sure. But as far as the face, I just painted her face black, because all the symbiotes, at least in the comic books, all their faces look black. Like for example, Scream, her face is completely black. I did customize it, but not the face. I decided just for Phage to paint the top of his head and most of his face black. Riot and Lasher, I didn't do that, but in the comic books, 3 out of the 5 of them always have a black looking face, so I figured I'll just paint her face black. I did sculpt on these teeth, which admittedly I could probably do better. You see that hair right there? That's really bugging me. Come on, get off, dude. That's really bugging me there. Okay, whatever. Okay, there we go. I removed the hair. So yeah, I sculpted the teeth on. I'm probably going to go back and repaint the eyes because the paint is kind of wearing off. For some reason, it feels like on some figures and some plastic, paint just does not stick to it. Like, some paint, I don't know if this figure is the case, but some parts, the paint just does not stick onto figures. It just rubs off eventually, which is kind of dumb. But as far as that goes, the eyes are kind of wearing off a little bit. But I did sculpt the teeth on, and then I painted the hair. I painted it this dark purple color like you see on the rest of her body. I painted a dark purple, then I painted a lighter purple in there. Then I painted a black, and I kind of just did wash a little bit. And I feel like the hair came out looking pretty cool. I think the Hasbro version, a new Hasbro, whatever. The Hasbro version, I think it's just one solid purple with pink in it. Mine is like 3 different colors in it, so I think it looks cooler. As far as the rest of the body, I just painted it all purple. Actually, what I did for this was, so I took my mixing tray of paint, and I added pink and purple into it. Then I mixed them together, but instead of stirring it, you know, like when you stir paint or you stir some kind of different colored stuff together, you can see the process of it slowly mixing into one color. Before it mixed completely into one color, it was kind of in pieces. Like some parts were purple, some parts were pink, and then just kind of slathered on the paint. I painted the whole figure with that, so some parts look darker. See here, some parts on the hand, some parts on the hair, the shoulder there, some parts on the butt here on the arm. Some parts look lighter pinkish, some parts look lighter purple, some parts look darker purple. And then I added black as well over top of that. The reason for that was so she doesn't look like one all flat color purple. And also at the time, I didn't know how to do wash quite like I do now, like something like with Black Suit Spider-Man. Now, since I know how to do wash on a figure like this, also he has like more muscles and more toned features where she's just mostly just flat without like any really detail to her. So like maybe like the hands, that's about it though, and the hair. You see this guy has like gaps. You see the parts where his muscles are, fabric stretching, you know, stuff like that. And now that I know that technique, if I were to redo a custom like this, I would know how to do it better. But as far as it goes, it looks pretty good. And then I just took a Sharpie paint marker, and then this is what I did. I took a Sharpie paint marker and I just kind of very loosely, sloppily slapped it on. Then I just took like a piece of a paper towel and just kind of like patted it like this on the body to make parts not look so crazy. You may notice something about this figure that most female figures from with this body style didn't have, and that is a bigger chest. And the reason for that is most comic book characters are drawn, especially females, only females, are drawn with, you know, huge breasts, which, you know, and now they look pretty similar. If anything, hers are bigger than Scream's, a little closer together. They don't have as big of a gap in between them, though. She still has a smaller torso, because it's like the teenage body, whereas Scream is using the adult body, so the height is different. If she was taller, that'd be okay. If she was taller, that would be preferable. She's not, and that's a little unfortunate. You know, if I were to ever somehow get hold of, like, another female body like Scream, I would want to use, like, a body like Scream, not like the double-jointed elbow Shriek, because she doesn't quite have the same curvaceous appearance as, like Scream. But yeah, so I sculpted on a bigger chest to make it look better, and also, I think the torso also cracked when I was doing it. You can see there's like a crack here on the torso, specifically on this side where I had to open up the figure to put Spider-Girl's legs in here, because that's Spider-Girl's pelvis. Like if you take this off, I think all this leg is actually Spider-Girl's pelvis. Or no, I think I used her pelvis. I don't know why, but Spider-Girl's pelvis is in here, and there was like a crack there, and I figured I might as well just cover it up and might as well make it look kind of convincing. So I sculpted on a new chest. Also, these Carnage hands, like I said, are actually cut to be smaller. When we compare them to these hands, actually, no, they actually made new hands for Phage. If we compare the Scream hand to her hand, you can see Scream's hand is a lot bigger. And what I did was I just cut parts of the claws off to make them look smaller to fit this kind of body. If she was on, like, the full, like, the adult female body, I definitely wouldn't cut the hands. I'd probably leave them the same. I don't know if they'd be compatible with these hands, but either way, I think the way it came out, it looks pretty cool. There's some paint rubbing here. Now that I use a sealer as well, which when you paint it on, it keeps the paint from rubbing off at least as much. I might go back, like touch up parts, like I said, redo the eyes, maybe touch up a little bit of paint here that's kind of rubbing off. And definitely tighten this knee, because this knee is kind of horrible right now. Like, when we put the figure, she falls over like that, which is unfortunate. So I'm probably going to do that. Tighten up the knee. Touch up the little bits of paint that are kind of missing or kind of, you know, kind of coming off. And then add a sealer to it. And then, boom, I'll call it a day as far as that goes. You know? Alright, I figured we'd do some live customizing while we're here. So I'm just going to quickly paint some of the joints. So I'm going to paint the eyes first, because, you know, the eyes are the windows into the soul. Do symbiotes have a soul? I don't know. That's the question of the day, guys. Do symbiotes go to heaven? Okay, here we go. Alright, okay, here we go. So, I'm just going to quickly slather this on here. You guys get to see me doing some paint apps live on camera. There's like another hair right there. I don't know why there's hair. Oh, it's because I used the glue dot to hold the neck. Because, fun fact, the way I attached this head here, because for some reason, the Spider-Girl and the Spider-Gwen do not have the exact same body. So the disc hinge ball joint for the neck is not the same. There we go, how's that? The disc hinge body for the neck is not the same, so the heads aren't compatible. Spider-Girl's head is my hand's so shaky here. Spider-Girl's head is ever so slightly bigger, like the hole to plug her head to the body is slightly bigger. Just add a little white to the teeth right here. Boom. Yeah, so her head is slightly bigger, so I had to put a glue dot to hold the head in place. Yeah, you can see the head kind of does move a bit. But there we go, yeah. Alright, so that's done. I'm just gonna add some purple to it. Okay, so I actually don't know how good this paint is going to look on the body. I didn't do any mixing, so I'm just gonna hope for the best and hope that this paint is the matching color. It might be. Oh yeah, it doesn't match perfectly, but it matches pretty good. You can see that, yeah, it matches kind of good there. I'm just going to do like a little bit of extra, little touching up here on the shoulders, on the wrist joints here. So in some parts, if the color does not look identical, that's kind of good. It gives it some more, some more design to it. Or not more design, looks like it has more, I get detail? I don't know. I don't know what the word would be to explain that. Put it right there on the breast. And then if you do that, you just like pat it with a fabric. I pat it on my jacket. There we go. Put it right there. So that way it kind of blends in, but also kind of not. Add a little. Just gonna do this to make it look you gotta blend it in. Like if you're gonna use colors that don't match, you gotta make sure you kind of blend it in to make it look a little less apparent, you know. Boom there. I hate how it keeps focusing on my hand. If you do that, boom, focus. Any other spots where you could do some paint? Yeah, a lot on the back right here. So yeah, when you bend her ball joint torso, the ab joint, it makes the paint on the back rub off quite a bit, which on the joint right here. So that's a little unfortunate. Okay, there we go. I put a little too much on the arm. Quickly just dab it there. Take a little bit off. And look at that, it doesn't even get any on my jacket there. That's pretty good. But yeah, there we go. So that's kind of all. Touch up the foot here a bit more. And my dogs are angry, so I'm going to have to wrap this up pretty quick. Boom, there we go. So yeah, I covered up the paint. I could probably do better. That was just kind of show you guys how it works there. And boom, there we go. Almost spilled the paint. Alright, so I let it sit here for like about 20 minutes-ish. So the paint might not be completely dry, but you know, you have to end the review here. So you can see how the eyes look a lot. The paint is not as clean, which to me it's okay if the symbiote eyes are not symmetrical and identical. To me, I don't know, to me that's not as big of a deal compared to like, you know, Venom, where Venom or Spider-Man, where the eyes should be identical on both sides. But either way, that's pretty much all for this custom. Let me know what you think about this figure. I'm not going to go over posability because it's kind of, you know what, whatever, let's do it actually. The head can't really look up because the hair can look down, it can go side to side, you get a slight pivot here and there. The arms rotate all the way up, or no, they go all the way around, they go all the way up. Surprisingly, this is one of the only figures by Hasbro that actually can go almost all the way up. Get the ball joint torso here that goes forward. Not really much, it goes back a little better, tilts side to side and rotates all the way around here. Get a single bend in the elbow, which again is another one of the almost best Hasbro female elbows. Actually, one of their best single joint elbows. You get rotation here in the wrist, hinge in the wrist here. The legs kick up, not very good, honestly. They go down, they go back barely. You can close to the splits. Rotation in the upper thigh. You get a double bend in the knee, get rotation here in the boot. The foot goes forward, back, and you get ankle pivot. I don't want to touch that foot too much so the paint doesn't rub off. And then boom, there you go. You get ankle pivot. So, you know, pretty standard Hasbro articulation. You know, like there's some parts that could be better. Like the ball joint torso sucks. And then the legs don't have a lot of range. They can't kick forward much. They can't go back much. But either way, I think this figure does look, this custom at least, looks pretty cool. If I do say so myself. no, but I think this custom does look pretty good. There hasn't been any other changes other than what I did just now with repainting the eyes and adding some purple here and there to cover like some parts where there was some purple rubbing off. But other than that, there's nothing new to the figure. I haven't done anything since the original video. Also, shout out to the paintbrush I used, which this brush is getting kind of messed up. I'm going to have to buy more paintbrushes pretty soon because a lot of these are kind of crapping out. But either way, that's all for this video. I will see you guys next day of Venom Month. And make sure you let me know what you think about this custom. Wow.